Good morning, it's Jerry and we're about to take a garden tour. We're here with Danny from Better in Suburbia, one of my buddies on Instagram. I've been kind of hinting at her for a while that I wanted to come over and check things out, and she said, you know what, it's hot as all get out, just come on and we'll do this. So this is Danny and she's gonna give us a little tour of her yard. Now this looks like sweet potatoes to me.
So these are all of our ornamental sweet potatoes on our unfinished trellis. Okay. Because life happens.
Right.
So there's those, and then there's also, you'll see there's some morning glories in there.
Right on.
And then these will grow up and give us some shade for our greenhouse.
Very cool.
All stained pretty.
And she mentioned that she kind of chose to do ornamentals because she didn't put these she doesn't actually know what kind of wood this is, so she's just kind of playing it safe and not growing any food without not knowing what the wood is.
So this is our greenhouse, which right now is more of just a hot box. But we have like a fig. These are all of our things that we've grown from seeds. There's some pears and some apple trees and some herbs for my best friend's mother if she ever stops by.
Did you use this quite a bit though in the winter?
We use it a ton. It was packed, and it's nice because these shelves are stackable and restackable, and you can change the configuration, and so it is really kind of an ever-flowing from about, I don't know, maybe September all the way through the spring. We actually just got most of it cleared out within last, I don't know, month
So
or two.
did you do stuff with lights inside and then move it in here, or did you just start seeds?
No, I started everything out here during the winter.
And so it just grew right through there. You didn't have to use any additional lights or anything like that?
We probably should have, and we will next year with seedlings. Because some of them just got kind of leggy.
Right. So. Yeah. Okay. Very good. And then they've got some future plans for over here. You want to kind of give us an idea of what?
So we're actually going to put in a full shed with an attached greenhouse. And then we're also going to take the bones of this and convert it into a partial chicken coop, partial bunny hutch. So we'll have laying hens and then pet bunnies because bunnies are cute. Over here we have dragon fruit. I believe that they're the white variety. We haven't gotten anything from them yet, but
they look beautiful though.
And this one needs a trellis, but we haven't gotten to that yet. Eventually all of these will be in the ground. We have our passion fruit, and then under here there's some catnip, and then also our huckleberries. This passion fruit is just wild. There's fruit everywhere. Just
now, were you expecting this to get like this, or tell me the evolution of this passion fruit?
So, we originally had this passion fruit in a pot on the patio when we first bought it, and then we realized it wasn't getting nearly enough sun. So we put it in the ground here, and we just had this chicken wire thing that it was on from like probably about November. It was on the chicken wire, and then it quickly outgrew that, and about the same time my father had backed his trailer into my grandmother's RV gate, and so they had an extra panel that wasn't damaged, so we took that panel, gave it a nice paint, attached it to some strong sturdy 2x4s, dug them in, and then it quickly outgrew that. So we added, there's some like nautical style rope that all attaches to one big like bull nose hoop. Oh, look at the bee. And that nautical runs the rope runs all the way up onto that bull nose, and then it quickly outgrew that. Right. So we busted out our handy dandy 5x5 canopy and started to grow it on that. Next year we'll have a little bit better of a plan. We also added these guys over here to hold up this side, where there's just dozens and dozens of them under here.
Yeah, this is a little paradise down here. And do your children like to come in here?
Oh yeah, they come under here and hide.
There's some more over there too.
My kids aren't as impressed with it as their friends are.
Right.
Their friends think it's awesome. And then we have some boysenberries down here. These are Brandon's experimental peanuts. Goji berry, you can see there's actually some on there. I should probably pull and get dehydrated. And then we have our moringas.
And then what was this?
This is a cucamelon, which still hasn't done anything. We still haven't gotten any fruit off of any of our cucamelons. So if anyone knows what I'm doing wrong, let me know, please. gooseberries, which haven't done anything through the spring and summer, but we had quite a bit of fruit during the fall, so hopefully they'll just last until it cools down and then they'll be happy again. We have pink lemonade berry. Over here back behind the tires, the kids' tire gardens, which need new flowers. We have a pineapple that my husband grew from just a pineapple top.
That's what this is right here?
That one's been in since, I don't know, spring of last year, so it's over a year old.
Yeah, it's
definitely gotten taller over the last couple months. Back here, we just have some of our desert-adapted honeysuckle or Cape honeysuckles and yellow bells. But in between them we have, this is a ladyfinger grape. This is our Thompson seedless grape. Just protecting our last little bit. You can probably pick them.
Yep, that's awesome. But you said this is your first year.
This is our first year having it in. Yep.
Right.
This is pretty much our first year for having anything in the ground that's prolific with the exception of the citrus.
Tell me again too, because what are you gonna do? You said you're gonna extend this.
We're actually gonna extend this trellis in, I think they're 3 or 4 foot sections, all the way down, and just do grapes all the way along the back. And then these desert adapted trees will be grown up more like trees. So
I love this. Like she's got a couple of a bolt here and a bolt here and a bolt down there. So you could even put more lines of wire if you wanted. Yeah, so our plan
is when we go to these next ones that aren't actually a main, like they're not holding the main trunk of the grape, just the center ones, in between the ones on the side, the flanks, we're actually going to run these ones at the opposite, or the whatever,
put the wire at like kind of opposite.
Offset. Yeah. This is obviously rosemary. And then we have some lemongrass and some longevity spinach that I got from a friend, and more strawberries that I'm killing. I'm so good at killing strawberries. It's not even funny.
I have not had any success with strawberries either, so I feel every ounce of your pain.
This is our kitchen garden. We had some tomatoes in it, as you can see, the empty cages. And then we just have a bunch of different types of mint. And our huckleberry back here, but during the winter this will all be planted with lettuces and different things like that. We can come out and just clip and eat. This is a pomegranate we grew from seed. I love these cinder blocks, this herb garden with the cinder blocks, except for in the summer it's awful. It just does not work well in the summer. In the winter it's great, but in the summer it just doesn't stay. There's no way to keep it watered enough. I'd have to be out here watering it 10 times a day.
So it looks like you had sage. What all did you have growing there in the winter?
So I had sage and then 2 different types of peppermint. The thyme is still okay. And the lemon balm that I have over here is still doing pretty good. But the rest of it is... we had some dill and I think some cilantro in here during the winter.
Right on.
This guy right here is our Lappin's cherry. It was getting too much sun, so I just moved it, and hopefully it will green back up. And then over here we have, there's 2 Roselle hibiscus and our mulberry that we just picked up for Mother's Day. And here we have our chard, and some leeks and some chives, and then green onions. And then these are our actual sweet potatoes. These are going to actually grow sweet potatoes.
That's awesome.
These are the sweet potatoing sweet potatoes. We have along the front we have lavender and sugar cane, and then down at the end there's just some tomatoes and some tomatillos in the pots.
And just so real quick, this bed, if you will, this area starts here and it spans all the way down to that end.
It's 46 feet.
So tell me, how did this come to be? Did you just block this off because of your dogs?
So this originally was a horseshoe pit, and it was completely useless, and we never used it because the dogs just used it as a litter box. And it's right out my kitchen window, and so all I saw was just this rocks with dog poop in it all the time. So we decided this would be a great place to start our gardening. And we just kind of built up another, I don't know, what is that, this 1x6, 2x4, or 2x6, 2x4. So we built it up, and then we decided that it would be necessary to put a fencing around the outside just to keep our big old dingy dogs out. So, so we put the fence, and then we added, there's 2 gates. posts you can enter from either side, and we can also change up the configuration rather than walking down the center. We could, you know, have it laid out differently.
Right.
With the 2 gates, so that leaves it open. But another thing that was nice about building this on the outside, and it's literally just 1x2s and chicken wire. It's so easy to do.
And you see down here, like, this is kind of the concrete that was
that was just like a...
And then they just built up from there, and I love this.
And these posts are just in using U-bolts. You can see there's some U-bolts down here that just come through, and they hook right into these posts, and we just literally screwed the fencing right to it. So we just created these panels, and then zipped them right in. It was actually surprisingly easy.
Did you guys use, like, did you just figure it out? Like, you kept brainstorming?
We just totally winged it, and we would problem solve as we came up with stuff. There was a lot of running to Home Depot.
Right.
Luckily, it's only like a mile.
Right on.
There was a lot of, oh, we need some more of those. So, but yeah, surprisingly, the structure and the build out of this was not very expensive. It was what we had to fill it with that made it expensive.
Oh, like the compost?
Yeah, the compost and the dirt, the soil is what got expensive. So, let
me ask you real quick, when you guys were doing this, and did you do the wire with it being kind of like a trellis out here, or was the wire just a part of what would work?
So, honestly, the reason we chose this wire was because it was one of the cheapest options.
I love that.
So the fact that it could be used double duty as a trellis was just an absolutely welcomed bonus.
Perfect.
So.
And then see, look, here's a little, I love this little gate. My daughters would go crazy running in and out of this gate.
So this is kind of, this year, this is our cucumber area. We also have some radish that we had planted along that's now gone to seed.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of radish down here, and then you can see she's got some sunflowers. And I love this little, because see, this here is the pole. There's a horseshoe pole right here, so that's protecting us from that. And then they've got a little teepee trellis.
For the cucumbers.
Okay, yeah, that's what
cucumbers. There's also some loofah in here just because it went wild.
And down here she's got some pretty little, these are lemon
cucumbers, yep. We just got some Armenians in.
And that's coming out from that corner.
Yep.
And then what's over
Those
here?
are roselles.
Okay.
Which I think are not getting enough sun, but they'll have to suck it up.
Right.
There has to be shade here for the tomatoes.
Right.
So these are the last of our surviving tomatoes, and they all kind of look sad.
What's this little pink happiness down here?
Those are chrysanthemums.
Okay.
Yes, I think chrysanthemums. There's those and another one I always get mixed up. This tomatillo, which is wild and crazy.
This right here?
Yeah.
That is wild.
It's just, it's all, the stem is there, but it's, I don't know. It's just taken on a mind of its own. And then isn't producing any fruit. These are our yellow pear tomatoes, which have been our most prolific even through the summer. You can see they're starting to already get yellow. We've been harvesting a couple here and there.
And she's still got flowers
and
everywhere.
the flowers are still setting for new fruit, so that's exciting. I think this is actually a green tomato down here that is still living, but it's not doing anything. It's just
you know, that might be one of your little heroes that come through
right
for the winter,
yeah. So we'll see. And then this area will all be used for our monsoon planting. We just got in some beans.
Yeah, she's got the beans down here.
Beans, but pretty much this is all just cleared out for getting in new stuff. There's another little yellow pear tomato that's trucking along right here. These are zucchini. I know, right?
That is insane.
This one, the leaves were even bigger. They were like longer than my husband's foot. They were, I mean, just massive. We kept having to tack it up and cut them off, and just to try to be able to get through here. So we have 4 zucchini that flank either side of our squash. We call it our squash structure. Here's our pumpkin, our first pumpkin.
That's amazing.
Right? Isn't he so neat?
I love all the little trellis, like secret garden areas.
I'm obsessed with trellis.
And then all along the bottom,
so there's some kale down here.
And did we miss an herb down there? Or
I think there's some basil over there, but there's some thyme. They're kind of just all over. There's like a thyme.
So she just uses like these little edges, which is super smart, to kind of get another little section of small things that can get shaded out by these huge, massive plants.
Oh, there's some more little pumpkins getting ready to bloom out here. You can see all the butternut squash along the outside. There's some good butternut squash in there.
And this is like a little bee haven zone too. Yeah, actually, there's a wasp.
I think one of our neighbors might have a wasp nest because I keep seeing those guys. There's the butternut squash right there. This is what I call my husband's southern section, obviously minus the basil. There were okra in here. They didn't take off. We planted them early and we planted them too early, and so they just didn't happen, and now we don't have time. But there's black eyed peas, and we got some pink eyed peas, and they're still putting off brand new little flowers. Look how pretty that flower is.
So pretty.
Over here we have peppers, so there's some bell peppers. These guys are just tiny. They haven't done a whole lot besides this tomatillo plant, but you can see in here there's a bunch of jalapenos. I should probably pull these
these are going to be really hot. These are on their way to being red.
My husband will love them then.
Good.
We have some chiltepins that I got from another garden friend here. Some more carnival bells, some snacking peppers. We have orange and red snacking pepper. It smells so good over here. The basil and everything. Our catnip that I just pruned, and now it's really not happy. And then obviously our melons. Come in here.
I love this little shelf. So just to kind of get some definition, there's like a shelf here and a shelf here, and then there's also like a shelf up here on the sun line. And then if you get in here with there's
just melons here. There's a big old cantaloupe back there. We got a honeydew down here. Let's see if we can see them.
Yep, I saw it better on camera than crouching down earlier.
And there's 3 guys along the back over here.
So this is like her little melon jungle, and these are
I think they're called vine peaches. Vine peaches. Peach. I don't know.
I'm gonna come back in the shade a little bit so you can just see that like this is taken over up here, and then
there's more melons planted along the front.
Right.
And we have obviously the thyme. There's actually some alyssum in here too, but I don't think it's flowering, and I think the melons have kind of
taken it over.
Yeah, they're crazy.
So this is kind of everything ends in this corner, and you.
Oh, there's 2 of them right there.
Yep.
These are the little yellow watermelons.
Another awesome watermelon. This one's huge. Like I always pick mine up, but that's like I can't even pick hers up. I can't pick this one up either.
That one's big.
That's huge.
Oh, and it's heavy.
Yep. So, as you can see, kind of the watermelon has trickled over this side and is coming this way. And do you plant stuff here?
So we don't yet, because this lime tree just went in in the spring. So this lime tree, but this year we'll probably wind up planting some sort of nitrogen fixing something around it. And then this is our orange tree, which is doing well for the first time in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. This is our lemon tree. We lost probably a good 60% of it last year in the monsoons. So it's trying to come back. Still kind of sad looking. And then this is our beautiful grapefruit tree. And we're actually going to build a little, like a fence around the well. Get it fixed up a little better. Build a fence around the well, and then we're actually going to plant some legumes. Probably some peas.
Yeah.
Just because we really love peas.
We forgot to look at this. We got to check this out. She's got, like, the first thing I noticed when I walked up was how big this stalk was. But then when you come up here, look at that. Huge. I mean, like, that's my hand. How huge is that head? And there's another one over here. It's pretty big too.
Our milkweed, and then there's a salvia in the center. A pollinator garden.
Yeah, a little area for the bees and butterflies to come back and munch and lay their babies. We're gonna get into a little of the tail time of our program and chat with Danny here and learn about how they got going. Danny, talk to me a little bit about her family. First of all, this is a military family that's now retired, so they moved a lot over the years. So you kind of mentioned over like 9 moves you did a little bit of gardening.
We did a little bit of container gardening in North Carolina. We attempted to plant a garden and then realized it was basically in full shade. So, and it just rained constantly and it was gloomy constantly. So there you really have to have, when it says full sun, you need to put it out where it can get full sun, because it's so cloudy and gloomy there most of the time. It's not going to get any sun on most days. So on days when there is sun, you really need to make sure that there's sun to be had.
Right. Which is the opposite here. Full sun actually here means put it on your patio, not actually anywhere near real sun.
Exactly. So we did a little bit. We had some bell peppers and I think we had a couple melons. When Brandon was in Korea, we moved back here. The kids and I moved back here for a year into Gilbert, and we unsuccessfully attempted to start a garden. I had 3 kids under the age of 5, and I really thought I needed something to do while he was gone, and then that was obviously not it, because it just all died. I tried to start it right at the beginning of the summer, and it was just, I probably planted the wrong things, and there wasn't as many resources to learn back then. So, yeah, so most of our attempts have been pretty futile, and I killed mostly everything, the house plants, all of it.
But then sometime last year you guys got...
So last year I got sick and started having some, like, I don't know, autoimmune, weird body pain, just weird stuff started happening with my body. And so I had just sold my company and I was bored and I started getting house plants, and then I got sick, and it was just like, what can we do to kind of help ourselves while the doctors try to figure it out. And we decided that we would stop eating processed foods, and then that a huge part of that would be starting our own food forest, just because of the sheer fact of you can grow so many different things here, especially prolific things, trees and vines and bushes and things like that. So we decided that with we have just over 1/4 of an acre, which is super, super rare for a planned community in Gilbert, or anywhere in the valley for that matter, that we just really need to be good stewards of the land. And then also our health was a huge part of it, and just being outside and kind of more getting back to the roots of where life began and where it ends, and just the whole cycle. And kind of pull our kids off the computers and the electronics and the games, and to kind of make a space where they wanted to be outside.
Right.
We never wanted to be in our backyard when it was just covered in rocks and cactus.
There's always something to look at though, when you know, and that's a lot of times how we pull, more so our older boys. The girls always want to do stuff in the garden, but when you've always got something to show, like, hey, come look at this, you know, come here, come here. So yeah, we're patio dwellers, you know, from the get-go, but I definitely agree that being able to pull your kids in to check out different things.
Food.
Yeah,
food is the way to make it happen.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, right?
So then, okay, did you just, last year when you guys decided to go into it,
so it all kind of started, I want to say like July or August, we bought the passion fruit.
Okay.
We had stopped in at A&P and we're just like, let's see what kind of things they have that we could grow, right? Because we knew that we could grow all the kinds of citrus. So we got that passion fruit, and because passion fruit is one of my favorite flavors on the planet, so it seemed like a good place to start. And so we got the passion fruit, we started it in a pot on the patio and realized it wasn't getting enough sun. And about that time, as soon as we got that passion fruit, it was like more.
Right.
And so shortly thereafter we bought the greenhouse so we could start stuff for the winter, and really have stuff grow through the winter. And then also it's a place where we can put all of our plants that don't require frost hours. We just pop them in there. Like our this whole winter, our Barbados cherry hung out in the greenhouse. So they never, a lot of the stuff doesn't go dormant because of that. And but yeah, so
you Okay, you guys started, you went with the...
Well, we got the passion fruit, yep.
And then you did the greenhouse.
And then we got the greenhouse, and we just started planting seeds. We had a bunch of shelves lining the patio before we had the greenhouse, just starting seeds. And we had everything in 4-inch pots and then up into 1-gallon pots. So I had this huge tray all winter, this massive table that we created out of just scrap pieces of whatever we had laying around. This huge table that just had probably 50 or 60 pots of just lettuce.
Right.
It literally looked like a nursery. Great during the winter, not great during the summer when the pots run out of water like that. During the winter I watered them every couple days and it was fine. I'd go out there and we'd harvest our lettuce. But knowing, we started the tomatoes and lettuce and broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and we had all these things in pots over the winter. And the bed that our leeks and our chard are growing in, that was the original single in-ground bed that we built.
Okay.
And then we just we saw this horseshoe pit and it was just empty, and that we decided that everything, as many things as possible had to go into the ground for summer, because I couldn't do watering for a couple hours twice a day. And so that was the horseshoe pit seemed like the most logical thing to convert to start. That will all be over there eventually. We hope to have a natural pond pool, and then all of our garden beds will be over on the side, and a lot of it will be grown under, like permaculture style, guild style, underneath other trees. We plan to add avocado and pomegranate, and really just make it look like a lush forest.
Yeah.
Where you walk, no more rocks, all the rock. I can't wait till I can rent a backhoe and get it all gone.
Yeah. And then
shovel it all away.
So let me, a couple of questions. When you got going last winter with those seeds, how did you know that was the stuff that you needed to be planting?
I actually, on one of the Facebook pages for our local area, I had come across the University of Arizona Extension Maricopa County schedule. People who ask me that every time, I'm like, hang on, let me forward this to you.
Right.
And I just send that. So I have that, and then I also have, I posted on my Instagram page, there's this yellow calendar that I have. Okay. That I got. It's written by the herb lady. I believe her name is Catherine Crowley. And she does a month by month. She does a month-by-month calendar, and it's not set up like a calendar. It's just flipped through like a calendar. Right on. It's like the month of January. These are all of the vegetables that you should plant, then the edible flowers and herbs. She also has like tips and tricks on when to water, and so when I am planning, and when I did plan for fall and spring and summer, I just kind of had all that laid out on my bed, and kind of went through the seeds that I had and kind of wrote down, oh well, we haven't tried this, I want to try this, and sometimes if there's something that I want to grow, like what was it that I was just asking about?
The wheat or
not the wheat, the
amaranth?
No, yeah, the amaranth. I was looking for amaranth, and I had posted, and a bunch of people were like, oh, I can give you seeds, and then so really it's just kind of about finding the resources within your community, because really when you look, especially here in the valley, there are a ton of resources. There are a ton of people who are just willing to just give knowledge, and I feel like in a lot of different areas, not as gardening, but a lot of different areas in mechanics or learning about different things. Everyone wants, they charge you for it. I feel like in the gardening community, everyone's just like, here, let me help. Right. Like it is just this warm, inviting, sharing, kind community. It's really, really a cool thing to experience.
So you've got a couple of umbrellas that we saw, but it looks like otherwise you haven't had to do a lot of management in terms of shade. No, my thought on it is if it's logical to put up a structure, and if we have the supplies or the funds or whatever, but I'm not going to spend a ton of money on it, and it's either going to grow or it's not going to grow. We have tomatoes that have been growing, and especially those yellow pear tomatoes, full sun, and they just rock out. So we do have the couple umbrellas, but it's going to work for it, or it's not going to. And every season we'll learn, next summer we'll probably put the tomatoes over where the melons are, because that lemon tree gives that area a ton of shade. And the melons love the sun. Right.
So we'll move the tomatoes over there. And so it really is just kind of a learning process. It dies, we replant, and that just kind of has been how it is. It's, well, if it dies, we just find something new to fill its space, and if we don't find something new to fill its space, we're just gonna add some good nutrients in there, get some compost or whatever in there, and let it rest, and then in, you know, a couple months we'll plant something else in there, because we can literally grow something all the time. So why not? And so this is our first season, but every season we'll learn and just kind of adapt and change up where we put things and grow different things, and I don't know, maybe we'll give up on strawberries or tomatoes.
Yeah, who knows? But I mean, I definitely want to just give them a huge high five. I mean, this is awesome for a full first year. I mean, they definitely have kicked butt better than I did in my first year. And I love how they've gotten so creative. Well, I've loved getting to meet you, and I think this is going to be some new friends for my husband and I too, because I dig her husband. She told he's fashioned out right now, and she's like, oh.
He's got his paint pants that he uses to paint the house in.
And his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirt.
Like, you stay away from the camera.
Yeah, so she's like, you stay over there. But I want to thank you so much for letting us come out, and I can't wait to see how her yard evolves, because I think that they've got all the momentum now to just keep going and keep growing.
Yes, grow something. Just try it. Just try something.
So thanks so much for tuning in today to check in with us for Show and Tell Garden Show, and I hope you have the best day ever, and we'll chat with you next time.
See ya.